You are listening to the Auto Riff podcast. Every week, we take a look into the car world. We take a look at our past, our present, and our future in automobiles. And sometimes we just chat cars. Sit back and relax as we slide into your speakers or headphones and talk about what's getting our motors revving this week. Hello, and welcome to the Auto Riff. This is Tailgate Chat number 3. 2? 3.
Yeah. I think it's
I
3.
think it's 3 too. Yeah, because we did. Yeah, it's 3. I'm leaving this part in. So number 3, and on this episode, we're going to record for the second time because the first recording, of course, screwed up. And we're gonna record what would be our dream road trip, and what car or cars we would do it in. So I think we're gonna modify from last time, because last time we just mentioned several cars kind of at the end of it. You can do different cars for different legs of the journey. We'll say that.
I like that
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
I like that idea.
In this
Well,
in this dream
we were also
sequence, we
thinking,
have lots of money, we have lots of time to do it, and we're just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go get a car. I'm gonna go rent this car, and I'm gonna drive down this X stretch of road, and then I'll stop, grab another car, go down a different stretch of road, maybe fly to this other location, whatever we want. Okay?
I like
Okay.
it.
Much fewer rules than the first recording. So Matt, go ahead. Tell us what would be your. So we're gonna do the same as last time. We're gonna start with your dream trip, and then we will both discuss that, and then we will say the cars in which we would do it, I guess.
Yeah, that seemed to it kind of just flowed that way last
Yeah.
time. So let's see. So if I started in San Antonio, I would love to take a sports car from here to the Gila National Forest, which is more on the west parts of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And because West Texas is more when people think Texas, they think deserts usually, which is the west half of Texas. The east side of Texas is fairly green. I mean, obviously there's stretches of nothing. There's large amounts of nothing actually, but it's a lot greener than people think. But on the west part, it's not. So I think that would be the ideal place to just have a sports car to just race your own little self and be happy and fly down the road. So for me, this would be a solo trip, and probably like a Porsche Roadster, I think would be
Yep.
a really fun car, just because that's not one I could actually drive in my real life. I would say an alternate version of that would be maybe like a 1 Series from the BMW.
Okay.
Hardtop.
Yep.
Hardtop. I did have a 3 Series for 3 years, and it was a fantastic drive. Just get the upgraded seats. Just worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah.
And then from there, I would like to see the Grand Canyon, to Vegas, to San Diego, to see. I've always wanted to see the San Diego Zoo. And then I think I would probably from there to the Pacific Northwest and road trip through wine country. Probably more in an SUV though.
Okay.
Like a 4Runner. Like
Yeah.
that's. I'll get more into detail later, but kind of thinking that would be the style of car. And maybe I thought about flying just from the Pacific Northwest back to home because I'm in San Antonio, but I think I would actually road trip it. I would think I would continue south and come back through Colorado because Denver is beautiful. I'd love to see the Laramie Zoo again. I got the chance to see that once before a couple years ago. I got to stay in Colorado. We drove up to the Laramie Zoo about 80 miles north. So I would like to go back and spend more time there because it was a great trip. And then, just seeing the scenery through Colorado, and it's just so beautiful. But yeah, I think that'd be a great way to. I like the idea of a balanced trip. You get your flat roads to just haul ass down, and you get the mountains to just take a break, and then check out Vegas. I've never been there, so a nice 3-4 day stop there.
Sure.
Poke around, and then of course San Diego Zoo and the Laramie Zoo. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I think. That would be my ideal. I think that would be an ideal solo trip for me. A nice balance of alone time as well as obviously interaction with people when you're in these public places.
Okay. So I'm
What about you?
modifying it slightly from the first time that we talked about this. And obviously when people hear this,
All right.
they're not going to know what the first time was. So I would start. I'm going to start west and move east. So I want to go down the Pacific Coast Highway. in California, because I have gone to Los Angeles and we ran out of time before I could go take a drive down it. And I think that would be a really cool drive. Then I would probably, because I hate flying, drive my butt across to the Blue Ridge Parkway, which runs from Virginia to Cherokee, North Carolina. And then I would drive the entirety of that stretch of road. And somewhere along that way, I would hit up the Tail of the Dragon, which I believe is in Tennessee, which we discussed last time is 318 curves in 11 miles. So I think I would do that. And then finally, I'm going international. All right?
Oh,
I'm going to Germany, and I'm going to go to the Autobahn, and
I knew it.
I'm going flat out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, to me, like, as far as the states go, obviously I would drive from the West Coast to the East Coast to do those two stretches of highways, and I'm sure there would be multitudes of wonderful roads in between. But those are the main points for which I want to do. And then I would hop on a flight to Germany to go down the Autobahn. The stretch, not the entire Autobahn, just the part without a speed limit.
Just for that.
Just to max some car out.
Whew.
And if there's any chances to hit up any racetracks along the way, I would do that too.
So having been in a car with you when you've decided to explore a road,
yeah.
I can tell you that I will just watch.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I'll put a GoPro in the car and just record the
I
entirety
think that's
of the
a
journey.
great idea. Because if I was trying to record it, I think we would just be I don't even get motion sickness hardly ever, but I think that might be that might be the limit of our friendship, like right there. Like, we've done some crazy drives, but the Autobahn might be me going, okay, I'm out, tap, tap.
Yeah.
You know?
See you when you get back. Thanks.
I will be at a bar watching the GoPro on an app on my phone going, oh, good job.
Yeah. Oh, you just missed that car.
Yeah.
So what cars would you do it in? Or vehicles, I should say. What vehicles would you do it in?
I think, I've never actually driven a motorcycle. Ever. Okay. I've never actually been on one.
Guess what?
So
I rode mine today.
I think I would like to try it. Obviously, this is assuming in this scenario that I would go like for some training.
Sure.
And,
yeah. What kind of motorcycle though? Because there are multitudes.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, you would have to help me with this because this isn't my forte. And this was actually a spontaneous thought. I was like, well, an open flat road would be the ideal place where, I'm going through areas where there's literally no traffic.
Yeah.
So this would be the ideal place. And I still would not speed on it because I'm not that kind of driver, especially not anymore, because I'm just too afraid of people doing dumb stuff. It's the claims adjuster in me.
Yeah.
It just, sorry, water bottle fell off the table and caught it. It's the claims adjuster in me. I can't do too many stupid things, but I would love to do it just to say I did it. And this is a road trip to kind of explore new things, right? So you would have to be playing supervisor for that. But I think a fun little roadster. I never drove a Solstice, even though
I know I've always wanted to drive a Solstice too.
I literally worked at Pontiac, right?
Yeah.
Like we had all the release paperwork, we had the promo stuff, and I just didn't get to drive one.
Yeah.
I got to drive a GTO, and that was hella good time. But I would like to try the Solstice on just because I never drove one.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be fun to just try it. So that would be one of the cars I would take probably in the open road areas. I know through some of the more rugged areas, because I think I would want to pull over and camp in some places. I'd probably I mentioned this on the first one, but the Land Rover Defender.
Yeah.
I just think it's big enough to be creature comforts because I'm 35 and I cannot sleep in the back of my car anymore, so not willingly. So I think that's what I would take for the SUV. Any portions that required an SUV, that's what I would take.
Although, can I just I'll interrupt you real quick. There is a vehicle out there that came with a tent. And I have mentioned it on this podcast before as being one of my favorite ones. Yes.
Yeah. And that did cross my mind. it's kind of an homage to you. But then I thought, I'm like 1,000 miles away from you. You can't strangle me from there.
No,
So
you don't know how many times that I've gone to buy vehicles, or thought, okay, I'm gonna go buy a new vehicle, and thought I should just look to see if
here it
there's
is.
any Aztecs. Like just look. Like I know it's technically a minivan, but God, there's something about it. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What else would you drive?
No, it's okay. I think at some point, I really think that at some point you should just hunt one down and buy it.
Yeah.
You know what? That will be the Auto Riff car restoration project.
Oh, that would be great.
The Aztec.
Yeah.
I always wanted to restore an XJ.
Yeah.
I think though I will leave that for another day in favor of the Aztec, and because I figure if there's ever something that we're going to do together where you want to slam my head into a hood, why not make it the Aztec? Let's bring this friendship full circle.
I think if I was gonna restore an Aztec, I think I would just put like nice, good size. Like it would be like an off-road edition style Aztec. Like I would lift it a little bit.
I think I thought of a modification for this road trip, other than the twist and turns part, because you obviously do not want to be in like an Aztec or,
No.
a Defender for something like that. But for the open road and the other travel portions, what about you restore the vehicle and then do it? Like, would
Okay.
that be your vehicle you choose?
Sure.
A modified,
Yeah.
restored Aztec? And
Yeah, you can. I'm not, but yeah, you can.
oh no, hold on. I'm not restoring an Aztec.
No, I
That's
I would restore an Aztec and do the off-road modifications. I would not do it for this dream car trip.
Are you sure? Like, you don't think you would want to take it on a long car trip? Not, I
No.
mean, obviously not on the tail of the
I,
dragon,
I'll, I'll
but
I'll tell you, I don't trust my restoration abilities enough to take something I just restored on a.
let's just assume that it can be done, and that you'll farm out whatever you have to farm out
Yeah,
to somebody
sure.
else.
I mean, I'm trying to keep two little Chinese ATVs running right now. So
Well, how about this? We'll fly your dad in to give it an
yeah, no,
oversee
right?
before you take it.
Yeah. There'd be so much disappointment in his face looking at that I just restored an Aztec. So sorry.
Look, that's something you have to live with,
Yeah,
not me.
yeah, no, it is what it is. So what are there any other vehicles you would take on this trip?
I, I would also. I've really always wanted a Renegade, but the Trailhawk edition, because it has slightly better ground clearance, and I really like the sunroof on it. I think it's like a dual sunroof. It's different,
Yeah,
and there's a name for it, and it just popped right out of my head.
the
I have been
panoramic
following this
sunroof.
vehicle. I I don't think so. I'm
Okay.
gonna have to look it up again. I've literally been following that vehicle since it was a concept vehicle. I was even part of an email list to when they were before it was even fully introduced. So when they were going to be updates, and now it's been out for a couple of years. And I told myself I was going to go get one, and I ended up leasing the BMW instead. And now I'm like, now I painted myself in a corner because I decided to go to nursing school.
Yeah,
When my lease was up, it was either replace the vehicle or not. Well, I left my job to go to nursing school, so I let my lease expire and just return the car, because it seems like a bad idea to buy a new car when I am at school for about 2 years. So it's like, okay, so I've told myself that I'm going to buy that, but now I'm like, well, maybe I don't want to. Maybe I just want to lease it to make sure I don't hate it. You know,
right.
Now
Yeah.
I've talked myself out of it because practicality and all that, but. Yeah, what about you?
I'm gonna take 4 different cars or vehicles for this. For the Pacific Coast Highway, where I'm in sunny California, on the beach. I want a convertible, so I'm gonna take a Corvette convertible. Right? Yeah. The new C8, the mid-engine. One of my bucket list things to check off would be to drive a Corvette, so check that off. And then as I transition away from the Pacific Coast Highway and start my journey towards the Tail of the Dragon and the Blue Ridge Parkway, I'm going to take an Aston Martin. Aston Martins are generally known for being very comfortable, fast cruisers. And I want comfort to make that long journey from the West Coast to the East Coast. So gonna do that.
Okay.
And then when I stop at the tail of the dragon, I believe you hit the tail of the dragon, then you go to the Blue Ridge Parkway. I'm gonna switch over to the Porsche Cayman GT4 with the 4-liter flat six, and then I'm gonna hop on that flight, sail across over to Germany, land
Heavily sedated.
with a lot of gravel in my system, and get on the Autobahn, and then I'm going to take a Ferrari. I'm going to say, because this is a dream trip, who cares? A Ferrari La
true.
Ferrari, which translated means Ferrari the Ferrari. So, yeah, right. Just in case anybody else is like, La Ferrari, what does that mean? So that car is insanely fast. I believe it's the fastest Ferrari that's ever been built. So if you're going to go do it, and it's a hybrid too, so I'm also being environmentally conscious. Sort of.
Oh.
Because from what I recall seeing of that particular Ferrari, they did not have any interest in the actual environmentalism part of it. They have more interest in how does that electric motor make that gas engine go faster. So those are the vehicles I would use. If there was an off-road portion, I'm just going to get me a classic Wrangler. 2-door, not 4-door. I'm sorry. We're going to discuss this now. I don't think the 4-door Wrangler is appropriate.
David is in love with the Wrangler. He wants a 4-door Wrangler so bad.
Sorry.
And I've been trying to talk him into a 2-door hardtop.
I'm sorry, David, if you're listening to this. I can't approve that. I can't approve a 4-door. I don't know why.
I think it's too much. Like, I think it's too much vehicle. One of my friends has a really beautiful one. He has the 4-door, and I got to ride in it. It was actually great. But I mean, I say that as a passenger. I don't have to like park it in my garage or leave it in my driveway or anything. But he David really loves the 4-doors. I'm like, but we're not likely going to have kids this century,
right?
You know,
maybe next century when when our heads are placed on robots.
Yeah, and I think we're just kind of, our dog is gone now, so we're not probably getting another dog ever. We're gonna cats are just easier. Love my dog, but we have our cats and we're good. And I'm just like, can we just stick with the 2-door because it fits in the garage and it's easier.
I don't know what something like, and it's not for the lack of capability. I know it's as capable as any other vehicle off-road. Something about the 2-door Wrangler is pure Jeep to me. And when they came out with the 4-door, it to me was just like, why? Because if you wanted a 4-door Jeep, you got the Cherokee or the Grand Cherokee.
Right. That's kind of how I am too.
I get nothing against it. If you buy a Ford, if you're out there and you have a 4-door Wrangler, that's fine. I'm not actively against it. It would not be my preference.
So in like 2 weeks, the tailgate chat's going to be like Clint's first apology video,
I need to apologize to all the Jeep Wrangler 4-door owners out there. I didn't know.
I didn't mean any harm. I'm sorry you felt that. You got to give like a non-apology.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry you feel that way.
I'm sorry you got butthurt about my opinion on the Wrangler. That's our first hot take here on the tailgate chat, I think. I don't think we've said anything.
So that's a microaggression.
Yeah, I don't think we've said anything controversial until just then.
Yeah, I mean, that's so far so good. I mean, you haven't got any hate mail yet.
No. I do want to, so I think we've given our opinions on that particular subject. On the Jeep as well as the road trip and the cars we would do it in. Anyway, so we're going to wrap this up now while my daughter is playing behind me. Allie, anything you want to say to the people out there? No. Okay. No. Well, thanks for coming on again, Matt, for the second recording.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I love doing this with you guys. It's so fun. So I really appreciate you guys having me on for these chats every few weeks.
No, this is fun. I'm glad we get to do this. Again, please listen to all the podcasts. Share it with your friends. Leave a review on the Apples and wherever else takes a review. Follow me on Instagram, the Twitters, and the Facebooks. Watch us on the YouTubes. And I think that's
Absolutely.
all the social medias.
Yeah. Really rate and review is the biggest thing that anybody can do to help. It's totally free. Just listen, give a review, leave a rating, and share it with your friends.
But
It's
only
totally
leave a
free to do.
rating if it's a 5. Don't leave me a 1. I don't want that. Don't be mean.
And always encourage, if there is feedback that people want to hear something or they think something's wrong or correct it, you should send them a message. Engage with them. Quinn's a friendly guy. I would say you're pretty approachable.
Mostly.
Engage in healthy discussion and about the topic.
Unless
He's a car
it's
guy.
that you
Well,
think the Ford or Jeep Wrangler is appropriate, because it's not. I'm sorry. Thanks
Well,
again, Matt. Thanks again for listening to the Auto Riff. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, or you can email us at theautoriff@gmail.com. Without you, the listener, I'd just be a crazy person talking about cars to myself. I appreciate the support and the conversations with my listeners that this provides. Until next time, everyone drive safe and have a great week.